The oral history of Michael Jordan, the tales, the rumors, the myths, maybe the facts are getting deeper and more rich as we go through the years. So Jordan obviously retired years ago, and as one of the greatest, if not the greatest basketball player of all time, according to Deadspin, who collected a few different articles and pieces of information, which they titled, "We Hope These Are Desperately True." So we don't know how much of these have substance, and if it's true, one of which we do, and we're going to start actually with that one. So Francis, MJ was one of the best trash talkers of all time, if not the best trash talker of all time. And we're going to throw to graphic number 8 because that has to do with Mugsy Bogues. Mugsy Bogues, famously known for being tiny, about 5 feet tall, if that, 5'3", I think. And against the Charlotte Hornets in the conference finals, not conference finals, in the NBA playoffs in 1995 with the game on the line. Johnny, this is the quote that we have. Johnny said, "Physically, Jordan and Pippen were about the same as defenders, but when you add in MJ's ruthlessness and trash talk, that put him ahead of Scottie. When Johnny was coaching with the Hornets in 1995, they had a good team. Glenn Rice, Mourning, Johnson. Series was tied at 2, and the Hornets had a chance to win Game 5 in Chicago. On the biggest possession of the game, Mugsy had the ball with the Hornets down 1. Jordan backed off of him and told him, 'Shoot it, you fucking midget.' Mugsy shot it, didn't come close. A year later, Mugsy actually told Johnny Bach that he believes that single play ruined his career. His shot never recovered."
It sounds like a tale from a documentary series that someone's going to run. Like, his shot just never was the same after that. And I was asking you earlier, was there any footage of this, like to actually see the words come out of his mouth? But I mean, if the YouTube video that I found, it was just this shot. And it was wayward. But when someone calls you out on a shot, basically, in any sport, like if you consider yourself to be great, you're like, oh, okay, I'll take it. But when someone calls you out on it, there's that extra weight that's put on it. But when Michael Jordan will take a step back and let you take that shot when the best ever asked you to go ahead and take it, I can't even imagine the amount of pressure that was on his shoulders when he took that. And I mean, I've watched tapes of Mugsy Bogues, and I think that someone of that size and that stature to do the things he did is so impressive. But it wouldn't surprise me if that moment was significant. Must have such a huge mental play on it.
It was exactly it. Jordan was great at psychological warfare, and he would really, really dig into you. He'd look up information about your wife, your kids, use it against you on the basketball court. And he's not the only one. Many have done it, but no one was better than Jordan at doing it. So we're going to step back one graphic card, which has to do with a pop culture icon by the name of Madonna. So again, this is another detail in terms of Jordan and Pippen's rivalry, which they're very competitive with each other. Both great players, obviously got along, won many championships. Nothing but respect for Pippen, it starts off with. He's a great teammate and a great player. He was a thug when he came into the league, but really came around, and they talk regularly now. Pippen and Jordan together defensively was as devastating a duo as there ever will be. Scottie and Michael used to compete on everything. Jordan used to always claim his hands were bigger, but they weren't. Scottie was very blessed down below, and that killed Michael. Johnny said, "You should have seen the girls Pippen had waiting for him everywhere we went. Madonna used to pick him up in a limo with a hot tub every time we went to L.A., and Michael used to tell Madonna that he could satisfy her better, to which Madonna would tell him, 'Not a chance.'"
What percentage do we believe this is true?
Here's the thing. I want to believe these are true, and that's so out there, right? Could you imagine Madonna using those words, especially with Pippen? But at the same time, I get the idea of how competitive they were with each other. That I believe in its entirety because they were, and that they pushed each other to be better and better players. But by the way, that's not the only edge down below that Scottie Pippen had over Michael Jordan, because I guess genetics worked in Scottie Pippen's family. As we move on to the competition between Pippen, Horace Grant, and Michael Jordan's kid. So this is graphic number 9 for you guys in the production booth. Thank you, gentlemen and lady. Sometimes the coaches worried that the Bulls were too loose. They were young and they liked to joke with one another, although the humor often had a hard cutting edge. It goes on to say, before the New York game earlier in the month, Jordan, Pippen, and Grant, all of whom had boys under 3 at the time, had debated for half hour about whose child had the biggest penis. They eventually agreed it was Pippen's. This one's really hard to believe, just how that's written, just how it kind of comes off. Like, I can't imagine half hour before a game, all these guys being like, "Yo, my kid's got the biggest dick." "No, dude, my kid's got the biggest dick."
Maybe, I don't know if trash talking between friends has evolved since then. That sounds very strange to me. I mean, talking about their kids' athletic ability, yes. Like, my kid's better than yours athletically. Right. He's going to be a better player than yours. Talking about a 3 years old at that point? What does that mean? Like, I don't understand it. I thought that, like, for one, it's a little disturbing to think about, but it's strange to me. I hope it's not true. That's
I like the my dad can beat up your dad argument when you're a kid. I think I like the my kid's dick can beat up your kid's dick argument when they're 3 years old.
How many times did you use that? When I was a kid, I used to, not as much
my dad could beat the shit out of your
brother.
dad.
I used to put my brother in the most awkward and just unhealthy situations by telling people no matter who they were, my brother will come down here and he will beat the shit out of you, and no matter who it was.
Yeah, I used to do the same thing. My sisters will come down here and beat the shit out of you, man.
How was that received?
Not well. Not well. We move on to the last one, which has to do with a comparison between Michael Jordan and Tiger Woods. So MJ used to tell Johnny that Tiger Woods is an idiot. I tried to help him, but the kid's going to get caught in terms of cheating on his girlfriends and his wives. We all know how that turned out. In order for a girl to get to MJ, she needed to go through 4 undercover former narcotics detectives just to speak to Michael. She had to be approved by all 4 to make sure she wasn't going to say a damn word about MJ to anyone. So there's MJ, not the greatest character guy, but he sure was pretty smart. I don't believe that. I can't imagine any 4 ex-narcotics detectives to just get with Michael Jordan.
Yeah, I'm gonna retire now from the narcotics division. Oh, what are you gonna do? I'm just gonna stop girls from getting to Michael Jordan without things. So what does that entail? You know, just background checks, fingerprints, you know, before they can get to him.
Sign a contract.
But I do agree that he might have given some advice to Tiger Woods.
Makes sense.
Tiger Woods probably during that time. I don't imagine that people didn't know about what Tiger was doing. Like, and it makes it harder when you're doing it with knowing people in that industry. If you're doing it with porn stars or anything else, not random girls who you could potentially pay off to be quiet. Like, and it ends up turning around that even if that does happen, more people will try and imagine the fame and the money that's going to come from speaking out about it. But I do agree, if that is true, times are a little bit different, I think, as they evolve. Tiger Woods was doing this through an era where cameras were starting to come everywhere. I think Michael Jordan might have been on the better side of technology, where everything
100%.
wasn't
all the instigators in the NBA in the 90s and even the 80s, of course, in the 70s, 60s, before social media became a major part of the game, they got away with murder, basically. Exactly. Some actually did. But I was gonna say, everything Tiger Woods turned to Rocco Mediate during like that playoff and said, "Putt it, you fucking midget." He's never recovered. He never could get his putt back. His stroke was done. Leave which one of these stories you believe to be true, which you believe to be false, and what other ones you've read in regards to Michael Jordan and his what do you want to call these? They're not fairy tales, but they're maybe myths, maybe legend. The Michael Jordan legend continues. Make sure to follow Francis at Francis_Maxwell, myself at JasonRubin91. Make sure to head over to @TYT Sports, give that a follow on Twitter, and stay tuned for some awesome Super Bowl pools. T-shirt giveaways will be here February 7th for the live stream. We look forward to you guys joining in with us in the online community. We'll see you next time.